Hello and welcome to Euphoria. On this YouTube channel you'll find updates on my Lego city with its modular buildings, squares and little details, as well as videos on other Lego topics such as builds, ideas and techniques, and my own designs. Today we're looking at something to bring a bit of nostalgia and local colour to the city. I'm talking about red telephone kiosks. Yes, I'm going to have a go at making some of these for my Lego city. There seems to be a lot of interest in the recent launch of the LEGO Ideas set of a red London telephone box. It looks very nice in its London setting, although unfortunately this is a model of the much older Type K2 box, which is now very rare. The red telephone box we normally associate with London is the K6 model, which replaced the K2 in 1935. Of course, red telephone boxes are not only found in London and appear in many different settings around the United Kingdom and in some other places as well, such as Malta, Bermuda and Gibraltar. Nevertheless, the Lego model looks very nice and measures over 31 centimetres or 12 inches high. That might be a bit large for my Lego city, but I thought it would be great to have some minifigure scale telephone kiosks, so in this video I'm going to be making some telephone boxes for my Lego city. I've seen several designs for red London style telephone kiosks, but the one I like the best is in the LEGO Ministry of Magic set from 2022. In the Harry Potter book and films, there's a telephone box in Whitehall in London. That's a secret entrance to the Ministry of Magic, which is actually underground. And so the telephone box functions as a lift or elevator. So this is the Ministry of Magic set. So in this Lego set, that's represented by this red telephone box that can magically descend into the rest of this model, representing the Ministry of Magic. The parts for the telephone box are in bag 1. And it's a quick and pretty easy build. The most difficult bit is probably getting the stickers on correctly for the telephone sign. It's a shame this isn't a printed part. I think it's a clever design that makes a compact and fair representation of a red London telephone box. It's really good that it's only 4 studs square, although of course the side panels and the details at the top make it slightly wider than 4 studs. You can fit a minifigure inside, and there's room for a slightly oversized telephone handset as well. The one in this set uses a specially printed glass door piece with the red glazing bars representing the door with small glass panes used in a British red telephone box. So I rather like this design, but there are a few small improvements that I'd like to make, which I'll come on to in a minute. There are a few things I'd like to improve about this design, and you'll see those as I go through making my own slightly modified version. Starting at the bottom, I'm making a small change to the way it's built here, so that the base is not as high. I'm just missing off this tile and leaving a plate here, so that there are some studs to hold a minifigure in position. The sides are made with tiles attached using brackets and a plate, but rather than using brackets in brown like the original, I'm going to use red ones so they're not as obvious. It's good that there's a telephone handset inside the box, but it seems to be missing a coin box and telephone dial. So I'm changing the configuration of the back wall so that it has a brick with a stud on the side. That way we can add a coin box and keypad using a plate and a tile with a keypad print. I think that will be okay, as I can't find a tile with a rotary telephone dial print. To attach the sides at the top, I'm using red brackets rather than the dark tan ones in the Lego design. At the top here, I don't know why they've used grey snot bricks in the Lego design, as you can see some of the grey here. So I'm going to change the design at the top to use red snot bricks instead. Now the Lego design has the telephone sign on all sides, but as that sticks out, it means the telephone box can't be placed directly against a wall or building. So I'm making one with the sign on just 3 sides, and that way I will be able to position the box right up against a building. Of course, I could just keep the sign on all 4 sides, and I'll probably make some like that as well. Right at the top, I do love the use of these slope pieces to make the dome shape at the top of the box. But I'm less keen on seeing the studs on the top, so I'm changing this plate for a tile with a stud in the centre, and then I'll add a dish to give more of the effect of a dome. Then I can add a decorative finial on top in this nice gold colour to finish off my improvements to the red telephone kiosk. You might notice that my telephone box is actually 1 plate shorter than the Lego version. You might notice that my telephone box is actually 1 plate shorter than the Lego version, but with the little dish on top and then the finial on top of that, it actually turns out to be slightly taller. I'm sure there are lots of other ways to make a telephone box. I'll just have a quick look at some ideas I came across while experimenting with mine. It's a bit of a shame that the sides of the box don't have any glass panes like an actual telephone box. Of course, you could use 1x4x6 window frames for the sides, but then you would have a box that's either 4 studs by 6 studs, or even 6 studs square, which is far too big. You could make the sides using Lego panels. If you use just the right size panels and position them just right, you can still get a minifig inside. You could use clear transparent panels or tinted ones. If you can live without the telephone sign on the sides, that also has the effect of keeping the width of the telephone box to just 4 studs wide. And that way you could also reduce the height of the box and make a smaller box with a more modern feel to it. You could, of course, change the colour of the sides or the roof if you want a different feel to the box. I'm sure there are lots of other possible variations, but let's go back to my classic design and start putting them into the city. Now we're going to put some telephone kiosks in my Lego city. If you think about Alexander Graham Bell, he didn't just have to invent one telephone, he had to invent 2 so that there was someone to talk to. Similarly, I think we need more than one telephone box in the city. Where do you think we should put them? I think, to be fair to everyone, we should have one in the Old Town area, one in the main plaza at the centre, and one in the more modern business district. In the Old Town area, we could have a telephone kiosk in the little square. So I'll put a kiosk here against the side wall of the Parisian restaurant. In the main plaza, there's room for a telephone kiosk over in the corner near to the town hall. So let's put a kiosk with the telephone sign on all 4 sides over there. Now moving over to the newer business district, we can maybe put one in Skyline Plaza. Again, we can put one on this side here against the back wall of the Sanctum Sanctorum building. So now the city has its own red London style telephone kiosks in minifig scale. I expect this great new facility will be very popular with the citizens of the city, and they'll be queuing up to try them out. I think they add a lot of charm and personality to my city, and they also serve as a reminder of the old days when people actually used phones to talk to each other. Plus they make for useful focus points for some fun scenes in my Lego city. I'm rather pleased with my little red telephone boxes project, and I hope you liked this description of how I made them. Or maybe you'll just laugh at how silly they look in a modern Lego city. Either way, I hope you had a bit of fun. Do let me know what you think about these telephone kiosks. Are they too old-fashioned, or a charming and slightly nostalgic addition to the city? Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that like button and use the bell button to be notified of new videos, and subscribe to the channel to see more about my mocks, other builds and ideas, and updates on my Lego city.